just need to find the AdClass page. All right. We are live. Let's see here. Welcome, everybody. Going to get into it in just a second. Just going to share this recording with the group. Share to a group. AdClass. What is up, everybody? I'm going to be talking about why most ads fail today. And that is the sad truth. Most ads fail. But some don't. And the ones that don't end up making a lot of money for businesses. So that is the topic for today. I think we are live. I think we are in this thing. Say hey in the chat if you're here. Get everything together on my end here. If you're joining us for the recording, feel free to skip through this beginning piece, but we are going to hop into it here in just a second. Once again, the topic for today is why most ads fail. I did a lot of talking yesterday, so you might hear my voice. It's a little messed up this morning. So bear with me. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. Hopefully you can still hear me, understand what I'm saying. I feel fine. It's just my voice has decided that it doesn't want to cooperate today. So there might be a couple squeaky moments, if you know what I mean. All right, I am going to share my screen. We're going to get right into it. And I know some people are going to be joining us here as this gets going. So no worries there. But I'm going to just start us off here without further ado. All right, present. Beautiful. Matthew, if you're in here, can you get my presentation onto the screen? I don't think it will let me do it. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, that's new. There we are. Sweet. Everybody can see this. This is the presentation for today. So I'm going to go through this quick teaching, and then we'll actually run into sort of the practicality of it all as well. But first thing first, really kind of what we're looking at today is that unfortunately most ads do fail. Okay, so I'm gonna put this live full screen so you can see the whole presentation. I might pop in and out of it a little bit. So if you put any comments in the chat, I will see those once I pop back into it. But let me share this slideshow really quick. Beautiful. So why most ads fail, how to make sure yours don't. So this is obviously experience from us at AdClass, kind of what we've seen over the course of spending $46 million on ads. And the hard truth really is this. This is kind of the way that I see this playing out, right? Most ad tests fail. And I call them tests because really when you put an ad live on Facebook, Google, Instagram, whatever it is, you are testing something. You have no idea at the beginning whether or not that thing is going to succeed or fail. And the reality is that the majority, call it 50% plus, most are going to fail. This is usually what happens, right? You'll put one ad up and you might spend $500 on it, but it doesn't get the results you're looking for. Maybe you make no money back. Maybe you get some data, but really you're not kind of breaking even on that ad. So you try another ad, you test something else out, another $500 test doesn't pan out. Maybe you try a third ad, another $500 test doesn't pan out. And you get the idea, right? You might do this 5 times, and every single time you're spending money and you're not seeing a return. Unfortunately, at this point in time, you've spent, $2.5 thousand, and maybe you've gotten some leads, maybe a couple booked calls, maybe you've gotten, a purchase or two, but you have not made money. Well, the real truth is that like these ads probably have components. Each ad probably has a component that would work, but it just hasn't really been packaged the right way, hasn't had enough time to test, or hasn't been tested to the right audience, most likely. Well, then you might test one more and screw it, basically. Let's see if we can't get this thing to work the 6th time. And that ad might be the one that ends up working to the tune of $2 million for the business, right? Now, if you would have given up at ad 3, you would have basically said, man, ads, they just don't work for my business, right? And, I've lost $1,000. Maybe I paid an agency. Maybe I paid freelancer. Maybe I just wasted the money and I never can get that back. I'm going to give up. I'm not going to run ads. Well, if that's the case, then you're never going to get to this 6th ad that is actually what's going to change your business for good, right? This green $2 million, you're not going to care that you tested and wasted $2,000 to get there, because this is so important for your business, right? And that's kind of the point about most ad tests fail, but it only takes one winning ad to sustain you for a very long time. Okay, I'm just going to pop out really quick, make sure that everybody can see this, hear this, because when it goes full screen, I can't see anything. Okay, looks like we're good. Everybody good? All right, pop back into it. So basically the whole idea here is that you have to keep testing ads. You have to keep testing until something hits. And when it hits big. So here is actually a screenshot, and I shared this in a reel earlier in the week into this group. I have 2 different screenshots. This one here, this is one ad. Okay, so this is the ad set level. This one ad has spent $400,000. It's generated 668 sales, right? 2,900 calls, about 3,000 calls. Cost per call is, and it's great. This ad is still on today. And it's generated, a ROAS of 6.6. So it's literally made this company almost $3 million on 400 in spend. This was not the first ad that I put up, right? This took a while to find an ad like this that would work. But once we found it, it's like you hit a gold mine, right? If you hit a gold mine and you're digging and you see gold, you're not going to stop digging. You're going to dig deeper and wider, and you're going to make sure you get all of the gold out of it, right? It's the same way with an ad. So, that's kind of this gold mine right here, literally, for this business. All of the other ads that we've tested have not looked like this, right? It took one winning ad to get to the one that broke through and found, over the course of the last 2 years, this one has been running and generating revenue for this business. Another example is here. This one, very similar. It's just newer. This one we launched in 2022. It spent 132,000 and generated 492,000, right? And so it's the exact same situation. It's just one ad. Took us a few versions of copy testing, a few different lookalike audiences to test, and finally, boom, it hits, and we leave it on. We scale it, right? But the unfortunate truth is that most people, they give up before they hit that breakthrough, right? And this applies in life in general. I feel like, most of the time you can probably relate, it's like, hey, if you would have just stuck it out, you probably would have gotten to that breakthrough. You probably would have gotten to the piece where things started making sense and you started actually seeing progress. So this is why that, here at AdClass, we talk about KPIs so much. KPIs are key performance indicators. These things matter. Ultimately, if you don't know your KPIs, if you don't know what you need to pay for a lead, what you need to pay for a call, what you need to pay for a purchase, then you don't know if your ads are working or not. And if you don't know if they're working or not, you don't know whether to scale or to cull. So we have another training here in the free group from a couple weeks back where we actually talk about the data. We go through the PPC sheet. We talk about every single metric along the way, what's good, what's bad, how to track it. If you haven't seen that, you should definitely go back and look at it, because ultimately you might have a gold mine in front of you. You might have this ad here in front of you and you just don't know it because you don't know your KPIs, right? Super important that we know our KPIs. All right. So unfortunate truth, most people give up. That's why KPIs are so important. And you really need KPIs to understand what's good and what's bad, right? A lot of people run ad accounts and they kind of just throw a lot of stuff against the wall, and then they never know what works and what doesn't. So once you know what's good and bad, now turn off the bad stuff and scale the good stuff. It's that simple. This is super important because ads are changing. It's 2023 now. I know that if you guys are on social media, you've probably seen everything is changing in social media. Video is now the new king, right? Video is everywhere. Facebook wants you on video. Instagram, TikTok was sort of like the platform that created this whole change. And so ads are changing. You have to know what's working right now in advertising in order to find those winners, right? So right now, entrepreneurs and advertisers are wasting money on marketing that doesn't work, or they're paying an overpriced agency and not getting results. They're launching ads with like basically no strategy. They're just launching, hoping, crossing their fingers that it's going to work, right? They're wasting energy on things like organic DMs, hitting people's inbox, and they're not seeing anything in return. And they're trying to sell stuff to super cold leads, and that's where good ads come in. So, a lot of times people are like, well, why is my ad not working? I'm trying it on Facebook. Everybody says Facebook is the best. Or I went to Google because Google ads are supposed to be the best, right? And they kind of look at all these platforms. They make an uninformed decision and they just go all in on one platform. One guru might say Facebook ads are best. Somebody else might say YouTube, right? I know a lot of people out there who are like, no, man, Facebook ads are trash. You got to go to YouTube ads. Well, who's right? No one that says that is right. And I won't sit here and tell you that one ad platform is better than another either, because ultimately it's so dependent on the offer that you're running. If all of your customers are hanging out on Facebook, you probably don't want to run YouTube ads first, right? And you won't know that until you test. That's why we teach all platforms here at AdClass. So when people are like, oh man, I think the reason why my advertising isn't working is because I'm trying Facebook ads and really I need to try Google ads. That's what we call shiny channel syndrome. So it's like shiny object syndrome. It's like thinking the grass is greener on the other side, when in reality, it's probably not the channel that's causing your ads to fail, right? It's probably the way that you're positioning your ads rather than the channel that they're on. I've showed a lot of screenshots to you guys in the past. I know like we've shown you that Facebook ads are crushing for us right now. We have a lot of accounts that are running on Google and doing super well. YouTube ads are crushing. TikTok is starting to do really well now too. It's not about the channel. It's about the messaging. It's about the copy, the creative, and it's about the funnel more than it is the channel, right? So each channel is slightly different. You have to, modify your approach a little bit, but the channel is not what's causing your ads to fail for the most part. All right, so let's talk about the ads themselves. So the topic today is why most ads fail. Here's sort of like the main three things to create an ad that won't fail, right? At least to set yourself up for success from the beginning, so that when you launch your ads, you have a higher chance of succeeding. Okay, so 3 keys. And I apologize for the voice, guys. I'm like, I don't know. I just don't have a voice. It's almost like the days where I was in choir back in high school. It's like you sing, for the whole day or something. And then the next day you're like, I can't talk anymore. I recorded a bunch of course trainings and stuff yesterday. And now today I woke up with no voice. All right. So 3 keys to irresistible ads. First one, great copywriting. We did a whole module, a whole free training on copywriting about a month ago now. It was super fun. And then we also did an AI training in there as well on how to use like Jasper and Chat GPT to improve your copywriting. Those are in the Facebook group. Just go through. You can look at those, and we talk more about the copy formula. But I'm telling you, it's at least 60% of the battle for your ads to convert is the copy. If you're not dialed in on the copy, your ads are not going to convert. You might say, well, I'm not a good writer. Well, you're in luck then. If you're not a good writer, Chat GPT and AI can help you, right? It used to be that if you're not a great writer, you would need somebody else to write your ads for you. But if you're not a great writer now, you can use tools online to help you become a better writer and to basically write copy for you. So this is the biggest piece though, whether you're recording video ads or whether you're, just looking at Facebook ad copy, the copy is going to be the biggest differentiator between a working ad and a terrible ad. So you have to dial in your copywriting skills first and foremost. All good media buyers, unless they have a team, right? Unless they have a team of people who are writing and whatever, all good media buyers should also be good copywriters. Because if they're not, then they're really handcuffed to what somebody else writes for them. So this is a skill that you can learn a lot about online. I would recommend researching some of the old greats like Gary Halpert. There's just so many that you can Google from like the direct response mail era. people who wrote letters, sent them straight to mailboxes for mail-in catalogs and things. There's just so many great copywriters out there that you can research and learn from. There's no excuse to not get good at copywriting, right? It's not a difficult skill once you actually dig into the mechanics of it. The only thing is, you have to start understanding psychology a little bit. You have to start understanding your audience, and ultimately, from there, we've got a lot of templates here in the group that you can use to actually script your ads. 1 second. Okay, so the other two pieces here we'll talk more about. Laser specific targeting. We have done sort of like a competitor research video in the past as well. And in the future, we'll actually go more into that, like how we actually go in and research our competitors and find our targeting. That is super important as well, because picture this, like if you have great copy, let's say you're selling something like plumbing. Okay. Let's say you're a plumber, you're running ads for a plumbing business. If you're targeting people who are not homeowners with your plumbing ads, like, hey, hire a plumber, I'll come fix your bathroom, and you're targeting non-homeowners, they're not going to click on your ads. They have a landlord that handles that. They don't need a plumber, right? That's why the targeting is so important. Now, if you're targeting people who own houses in zip codes where the houses are historically old and the plumbing is likely failing, now you have a really good offer in front of the right audience, and the ad is that much more likely to perform, right? It's almost like saying like, hey, I have an ad for coffee and I'm going to target people who don't drink coffee. Well, that's not very smart. You're not going to convince people to start drinking coffee in your ad, right? It's one of those things that people either do or they don't. And so the targeting is a huge key for the performance of your ad. If you're targeting groups of people that are never going to convert on your offer, you're wasting ad spend, and you're using ads in an inefficient way that's never going to convert for you. So the targeting is the second big piece here. You have copywriting, of course. I think that's the biggest piece, and the targeting is the second big piece. And then the third thing right now that I think is super relevant and kind of lets you test multiple things at once is creating videos and assets that can be used on multiple platforms. So I'll talk about that here in just a second. So we talked a little bit about the creative, the three keys to the irresistible ads. I want to talk first now about just the style of the video that we're seeing work right now. And so a lot of people are basically saying like, hey, I want to do video ads, but like I don't have a studio, or I don't have fancy mics or fancy camera, and I don't have a video editor. Listen, like all of that is cool. It surely helps in some ways, maybe to build authority or authenticity on a subject. But at the end of the day, what we're still seeing work super well is short form or medium form video with subtitles, selfie style, literally just holding their phone like this, recording themselves and being themselves. Anytime the person who is running an offer, whether it's an offer for their own business or they're an actor even or whatever, those organic feeling, like user generated content feeling videos perform super well. So I can never highlight this enough. Like short form content is killing it right now. If you're not testing short form content, you are missing out because the CPMs are cheaper. There's way more placements that you can use. So on Facebook, if you have short form content, you're going to be in the Reels feeds, Instagram Reels. You're going to be in the stories. You're going to be in the feed as well. And then, if you have this short form content, you can do, whatever you want with it. You can go to YouTube Shorts and run Shorts ads. You can go to TikTok and run TikTok ads, right? Because you have content that can be used in multiple platforms. If you have a 5-minute long video, there you go. You can't run ads on most of those platforms, right? They have to be a minute or shorter. So short form content really, really opens the door to a lot of different options for ads. Content where you're yourself is huge. People want to see you. They don't want to see like a fake actor. Like, whether you're running the ads for you or for somebody else, get the business owner on the video, right? Have them talk about what they're passionate about, give them a really good script to follow and get them to practice it. That is going to perform way better than like a super commercialized, animated ad. But of course, you want to test both for sure. Sweet. So key number 2, I just mentioned this, record ads that work on multiple platforms. So when in doubt, right now, what's working best is 1x1, which is square, right? 1x1, or 9x16, which is like this tall. These work, like the 16x9 works if you're running YouTube ads, but that's about it. So really, if you're gonna just choose one format, I would say 1x1. If you're gonna choose a format that you can really optimize toward mobile, 9x16. And so the best way to do it is to have somebody like zoom out, and record it out here. And if you record it way out there, you can have your video editor crop in, or you can do it yourself on the ad platforms, crop in and test square, test 9x16, and see what works best. Because ultimately, you're going to have to test them all. And then ultimately, the length, really shorter is better recently. Of course, you still need to educate your leads with the ad. That's why we like the VSL funnel so much, because there's a longer form video in the funnel that can help educate once people click through. But the length of the ad, if you want it to work on multiple platforms, really should be shorter than a minute, because then it can serve on YouTube Shorts ads, TikTok ads, Facebook, Instagram, all of the above. All right. And then finally, the laser specific targeting. We talked about this a little bit. Ultimately, these 3 things together are what's going to give you the best ability to launch a winning ad from the beginning without a lot of guesswork. This targeting piece, we've gone through this on a few different trainings in the group so far, but we really recommend starting with like a 1% lookalike of your customer list. If you have that, 1% lookalike is going to be the most high potential to be similar to your current customers. If you don't have a customer list to use, you're going to have to do a little bit more competitor research and start looking at interest-based targeting. So, it might take a little bit longer to dial in your targeting, but, either way, you really want to be trimming down your demographic to be the most similar to your customers. So if you take a sample of all of your customers and let's say, most of them are between the age of 30 and 50, and most of them are male, then you're going to want to put that into your first winning, your first ads that you're testing, because ultimately you don't want to waste ad spend on people who are 18 years old, 65 years old, or female in this case. If you do that, if you trim down to just male 30 to 50, now all of a sudden all of the ads have a higher propensity to close, because that that's your demographic that's going to convert on that ad. You're not wasting ad spend. So this targeting piece, super important to getting ads to convert early on. When you go into the actual ads manager, I'll actually pull up the ads manager here. This is some of the interest targeting that we're doing right now. I launched this campaign with just interest targeting. You can see the click-through rate here is pretty decent based on what we've talked about so far. I'm not super happy with the lead cost yet, but it's very, very early on in this ad. So what I'm looking at here when I talk about targeting is, who are you targeting at the ad set level? It's going to be slightly different on Google, but on Facebook at the ad set level, these are your interest-based targets, right? So I'm not using lookalikes here. Instead, I'm using interest-based targeting. I'm using targeting that I've used in the past that has worked for me in similar offers. But what you can always do if you're kind of confused on where to start is type something in that is similar to your offer, and then hit the suggestions button. When you hit the suggestions button, you're going to start seeing things that Facebook thinks are most similar to your current interest that's right here. So it gives you a really good idea of where you can kind of go from here and test new audiences, right? This is kind of a shortcut that I think a lot of people might not know about, the suggestions button, because if you try to go into browse and you start looking through here, you're going to get really overwhelmed. There's just so many things in here. So I like the suggestions button. Ryan Dice, okay, who's similar to him? Gary Vee, Marie Forleo, Brendan Bouchard, digital marketing, right? Like all of these are very similar and would work well for this offer as well. So with the targeting, you want to do that. And then, like I said, you want to trim down. You want to make sure that you're targeting the location that you care about, as well as the age range that you care about. So that's going to help a lot as well. So if you do all of this, if you do these 3 things, right? Great copywriting, laser specific targeting, and then creative that can work on multiple channels, I really think you're going to set yourself up for more success from the beginning. And hopefully then fewer of your ads will fail. Maybe instead of needing 5 tests that fail to get to a 6th winning ad, you might only need 1, or the first one might work, right? What I will say is that no matter what, even if you find a winning combination, don't mess with that winning combination. Like if you find an ad number 6, don't mess with that. Leave it running, scale it, but duplicate it out and try something just slightly different to see if that can actually make it even better. Because in media buying, there's no such thing as the best. You're always trying to get better, right? And so you always want to change a couple variables, tweak a couple variables, and get to a place where you feel really comfortable about the performance. All right, that is it for my training in terms of what I've prepared for the presentation. But I see 5 people in here. I want to know any questions about anything that I covered, anything that is standing out to you guys. Any questions at all about ads? I'm here. We're chilling. I would love to answer them. I will wait and see. Ooh, I opened my own video. There I am. So one thing too, while I'm thinking about this, so when you're launching ads, I will say, people are always asking where to start. Should I start on Facebook or Google? Should I start on, TikTok, whatever it is? You want to understand first two things. I'll never say like start here always, but I will say this. If you've never run ads before and you want the highest chance of getting early wins, you're going to want to launch on Facebook or Meta. There's a few reasons for this. First reason, it's the most user-friendly platform. So when you're actually looking at the ads manager, sure, it has its quirks. It's somewhat difficult to understand. But in terms of like a skill level, it is easier than Google ads, like for sure. And once you learn Facebook ads, it's a skill that you can easily apply to other ads managers. So, if you know how to run Facebook ads, then you can learn Google ads in the case of a couple of days, right? It's not going to take you too much longer to understand like how it works mechanically. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that on Facebook ads, as you may or may not know, you don't have to use video creative. I recommend using video creative, but if you just wanted to test an angle, and by an angle, what I mean is like, one ad, if you just wanted to test a certain piece of copy, what you can do on Facebook ads is just put that piece of copy with a photo, right? Or a picture. Very easy, low barrier of entry. Once you see how that works, once you see how people are converting with that photo, now you can take that ad, turn it into a video script, record a video, and launch it on Facebook, or take that video and launch it on YouTube. But the beauty of Facebook ads is that you could test 100 different angles, all with photos, find the 5 that work best, and then make videos of them. Imagine for a second if you started with YouTube ads. To make 100 different angles on YouTube ads requires shooting 100 different videos. That's going to take a really long time, right? It's going to take videographers. It's going to take more assets than you probably have to launch with. So I always recommend starting with Facebook ads, because when you start with Facebook ads, you're going to actually learn what the audience cares about more. And then when you make your video ads, you're using stuff that's already converted well. So you're almost taking a shortcut approach to what's going to work in the long run, right? So, when in doubt, I say launch with Facebook, at least for now. That may change. Next year, I might say something different. But for right now, it's the safest bet in terms of, for early media buyers, it's a little easier. Test more copy. You can get things done a little bit quicker in Facebook ads. All right. I'm not seeing any questions. Must mean that I'm just a really good teacher. That's what I'm taking from this. Maybe I should retire from ads, go back to teaching. That's a joke. I don't know if that's landing. How many ads are you testing? Ariel says, were all the ads in that last slide a single ad set? I think you meant to say ad set. That's a good question. Okay, so how many ads do I test like within an ad set might be sort of the question. So I will actually reshare my screen. on the ads manager, and we'll show you kind of the way I set it up. Give me just 1 second here, Ariel. Thank you for the question. Share screen, window, ads manager. Okay. So Matthew, sorry, you'll have to put that back in the show. Thank you, sir. Everyone shout out Matthew. Matthew's just the best producer that there could ever be. We launched our podcast this week, guys. Before I get into this answer, we launched our podcast this week. Matthew produced it. Really proud of it. We talked about the Super Bowl ads. Really just a casual thing. But please check it out. We linked it in the group. We'd love to get more followers, more ratings on it. So check it out, and shout out to Matthew. All right. So the question is, how many ads are we testing? And are all the ads in a single ad set? So here's kind of the way I do it. I'm going to filter down to just this current campaign that's running. Okay. So we've gone through a whole video on how to launch ads. I did this like 2 months ago. It's in the group. It's like an hour long. I went through and literally launched a campaign live. So check that out also. But first off, this is the campaign level. When you click into the campaign, you're going to see the ad sets. For this specific one, if I just highlight one ad set and go into the ad level, I'll see the ads for that one ad set. For this specific one, I have 2 ads. Both of these ads here are running, but as you can see, Facebook has spent $17 on the top one and $2.38 on the bottom one. So the reason for that is that Facebook kind of uses all of its data to allocate budget over time to what it thinks is going to work best. So what I usually do is I give it 2 kind of different ads at the ad set level to kind of see the differences. As you can see here, like both the click-through rates are decent on both, but it's actually way better on the one that hasn't gotten a lot of spend because it spent $2.38 and gotten 1 click. So, what I usually recommend is per campaign doing 3 to 5 ad sets, and then per ad set either doing 2 to 3 ads or doing dynamic creative. Dynamic creative is when you actually like go in and you can add multiple assets, but it counts as 1 ad. So either use dynamic creative where you can test a bunch of stuff at once, or just do 2 to 3 ads. No matter what you do, you just want to organize it in a way where you know what's working and what's not. So that's why I split it out the way I do. I've seen a lot of people do media buying where at the ad set level, they go in and they actually like combine all of this into 1 ad set. So as an example, they would layer like Ryan Dice with online advertising with young entrepreneurs. They put all that in 1 ad set. The problem with that is that it all rolls up into just 1 stat line, and they have no idea which one is performing better or worse. So for the same reason, that's why I like to break out the ads, because I can now see, okay, cool, this one is doing decent, but this one's actually doing a lot better. So I'm going to watch this over the next few days, make sure that this ad gets spend, because so far it's performing pretty well. In fact, if I look, at all of them here and I sort by amount spent between all of the ad sets, it looks like the indoor ad up here has a lot of spend. The burning ad isn't getting very much spend, right, comparatively. So that's stuff that I can now look at and see in deeper detail what's working and what's not. So you always want to break it out into as much sort of like detail as you possibly can so you can make informed decisions. Let me know if that answered your question, Ariel. Any other questions? It's fun. We just launched our AdClass ads this week for our next offer, which is where we're helping entrepreneurs launch their own ads. And so this is actually our account, and I'm hyped for that because now I can actually share ad accounts live on the screen instead of it being client accounts. It's my own account. So if you have questions, if you want to see anything in here, please let me know. Happy to share kind of the way that we structure it all. Any other questions? Last call. If not, we'll end it early today. I just want to know if anybody's got any questions out there. It doesn't have to be related to the training. Can be related to just ads in general, to anything that you guys are going through right now on the ad front that you need help with. Happy to answer them. Yeah, you had a question about what we are using for our business. Can you dig into that a little bit more? I'm not sure if you're asking what ads we're using or specifically something else. Matthew, if you don't mind popping in here as well and just reading the if you see it pop up a question or something, because I've got like multiple tabs here. I want to make sure. What's up, Matthew? Everybody say hi to Matthew.
Hey guys.
I just want to make sure I don't miss, because I'm looking at the chat here in StreamYard, but I'm not sure if it's popping through in Facebook.
Arrow's driving.
Oh, okay. Hey, be careful. Okay. She's asking about automation. Yeah. Okay. Good question. So automation wise, we actually just set this up this week. Matthew's helping with this as well. We're using ActiveCampaign. So kind of we're using everything that we recommend, right? So yeah, CRM autoresponder. Yeah. So what we typically recommend for AdClass stuff, for, just ease of use. For the funnel, we're using ClickFunnels. You could use whatever you want for the funnel. I mean, ClickFunnels we use just because it's easy, and we can get stuff testing really quickly there. For the CRM, we're using ActiveCampaign. It's the most affordable. It's also got pretty easy automation features. You can build it all pretty quickly. So we're using that for like the email autoresponder. We're using that for tagging clients and keeping track of people who purchase and opt in and everything like that. We're using Zapier to kind of fill in some gaps, with automation, and we're using Calendly right now for our scheduling. I recommend Schedule Once actually, so it's hilarious that I'm using Calendly, but it's just because I already had Calendly set up, and we're kind of small enough scale right now that Calendly works better. So yeah, those are the main things. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we use right now. Hyros we're using for attribution. It felt cool to purchase Hyros for myself yesterday after running more than 15 or 20 accounts on Hyros. We purchased it for AdClass yesterday, which is cool. So I'm a firm believer, even when you're running very low scale ads like we currently are, as you saw there, Hyros is still super important. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, Ariel. Hopefully that helps. If you have questions on any of those, just throw them in the group. I'll answer them separately from this. Just make a post in the group, on any of those things. And we're happy to run through kind of how we have it set up as well. But apart from that, I don't see any other questions coming through. I appreciate everybody for showing up. If you're watching this recording, I also appreciate you. I know we get 10, 20 people sometimes watching the recordings afterwards. So this group has grown to 330 members strong here recently. So that's exciting. Want to continue to grow this group and just provide free value for everybody. So appreciate you all. That is it. And we'll see you next week. Peace.